Hello everybody and welcome to a new movie reaction, and we are finally jumping into John Wick Chapter 3, the final installment, or what I know to be the final installment of this fantastic franchise. And yes, I can say it, I really like the John Wick franchise, but do you know what? I realized something is that when I do reaction to these movies like that, and I talk after that in my Afterthoughts review, I dwell on the positive things because obviously I like the movies and so I dwell on the positive things, but there are some things that bother me or that I would say I liked less about these movies. And I thought that maybe since this is the last movie that I'm going to be reacting on, before jumping into that, maybe it would be great for me, since I'm a filmmaker and that sometimes I have more to say than just wow from time to time. It would be great to talk about these points. So I know that for some of you, these John Wick movies are perfection, but to me they are not really. You'll see. I'm gonna get there, but yes, there are some things that I would have liked to talk with you a little bit about, and my maybe my not worries, but the things I'm going to be looking forwards as I'm embarking into the very last chapter of the John Wick story. So if I'm not too lazy, I'm gonna write here what I'm gonna be talking about. So yeah, let's go. The emotional motivation of the character. In the first movie, it was pretty clear, pretty compelling. You know, John Wick was grieving the death of his wife. Guys coming and they kill his dog and whatever, you know. It was clear, it was compelling, you get empathy and compassion for the character, you get on with the story, and you have just this sheer passion to see him getting revenge for that. And that really sold me. To me, these are the best, the characters that you can feel for. In the second one, I was a bit bothered because it was less about passion and it was more about need. John Wick needed to do something, was obliged to do something. I lost a bit of empathy for the character at that point. Don't get me wrong, I really like John Wick, but I was less inclined to cheer for him having his revenge because of some injustice or whatever. And it was just about looking forward to seeing him kicking ass, which can be okay, it can be good, you know, it's an action movie, but while you're at it, just have a great character. And to me, I lost a little bit of that empathy for the character because in this second installment, he was not, there was no emotional baggage really. He was just angry, and to me, that is emotion, that is not passion. These are two different things. And the effect that this loss of empathy for the character, or more generally, this lack of passion that I had with the character, for me, kind of undermined his final action as he executes the Antonio in the Continental. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Because, like I said, he's more doing it because he feels like he needs to, rather than he has the passion to do it. And like I said, he's angry about what the Antonio has done to him and he wants to get revenge, but it is an emotion to me. It is not passion, which is really different, and to me that undermined the emotional baggage that could have been carried on to and through this execution. To me, there's something really wrong with that execution. At the very same time, is that by killing the Antonio, John gets his revenge. But when you think about it, by getting his revenge, he's forfeiting the very same freedom that he has been fighting for, the very same freedom that he wanted to get revenge for in the very first place. So I'm really wondering, what good was it to get that revenge? So it was just a matter of ego, maybe, because if he really wanted freedom, he wouldn't have killed the Antonio. And some of you would argue that, yes, he got freedom because the Antonio would have continued to track him down. And I mean, the Antonio was in the Continental to protect himself from John Wick, because no killing on continental grounds. If John Wick wanted to be in peace, he just has to stay on the continental grounds. But now he can no longer, because he killed on the continental grounds, being tracked down like an animal, like this is the case right now. And what he wanted in the first place was freedom. But by forfeiting his freedom, he kind of lost me there. I'm still really pumped and curious to see where this is going to go. But yeah, I'm really hoping that he gets a good deal out of it, because right now he's not playing the good cards. Second point, the underworld and what I would call the upper world, the surface world, the normal world, our world. I love a little secret underworld in my movies. I really do. I find it quite exciting, and I love everything that is quite esoteric, mystery, secret societies. I like this kind of movies, really. But where it started to bother me was in the second movie, yet again, where the scale of it kind of became a little bit ridiculous at times. Besides, there's barely an acknowledgement of the local or federal authorities apart from Jimmy, but it's Jimmy, he never does really anything. He's just there as a caution to say, oh, the police is okay with that. But I mean, no. Look, in the first movie, they executed the fake Russian priest in broad daylight on the sidewalk, where any pedestrian or curious grandma from their windows could see it happen. Even John Wick is witnessing it from a not so subtle point of view from the roof. I mean, guys, and in this second movie, there is this whole sequence in the subway where him and Cassian are just firing shots at each other and nobody really reacts. John is barely escaping with his life, and he's covered in blood in the stairs and everywhere. He's bumping into people and nobody reacts. They're fighting in the train wagon. Nobody reacts. And I noticed that. I talked about that in the reaction. So that somewhat bothered me on that level. And finally, there was that scene, which is not the final scene, but really at the end of the second movie. John meets Winston for the last time. There is that moment where all the, what you assume are just citizens reveal to be assassins, because everybody stops on Winston's command. Granted, it makes for a very badass scene, but to me, as a filmmaker, I know what it takes to block a scene. I know what it takes to create a shooting space, and what your ratio, even when you want to plan some extras into a real crowd. I know what it takes, and to me as a filmmaker, it kind of took me off the movie, because I came to realize at that point that I was watching a movie, like a play, and it wasn't an experience that I was witnessing. I was not living the narrative at this point. I really was just, wow, that means that they really removed anything and that they really went on there with all the extras. So yeah, because call it whatever you want, but as a filmmaker, I see different levels of things, and I don't always talk about it because it's going to be quite annoying, I expect. But just like a doctor is going to comment on watching replays of House MD, I do that. And so that leads me into the very final scene of the John Wick 2 movie, which is everybody is an assassin. In the second movie, slowly, we get to see more and more assassins. It could be okay, a large secret society, but by the end of the second movie, it felt like 2/3 of New York were assassins. And to me, it is a bit like Star Wars, The more Jedi surviving Order 66 we discover, to me, takes away from the meaning, from the weight of surviving Order 66. And just like that, the more assassins there are, the less unique your assassin characters are. And I'm going to talk about the originality of the character of John Wick later on. But before that, I just want to wrap up on the world building. Another thing that I found slightly odd, but I really loved, was the operators. When whoever you are wants to put a contract or whatever, they call these operators and they make the contract. I really loved it, because this is a time period that I really love stylistically and even in the moral tone. So I really love these sequences, really well shot and really beautiful and really playful. But I mean, either you go full old school or you don't, because you had old school operators using old school material, yet suddenly the message was mass broadcasted through text messages on smartphones. That is a subtle thing. That doesn't take away from the fun, but that is a subtle thing that... Next, what I would call cheap elements from the script. The first one was in the first movie, and I talked about it. It was killing the dog. Killing the dog is the thing that they obviously did to hook your character. If the flashbacks of the dying wife wasn't enough, killing the dog was the thing that was going to hook you. To me, it was a little cheap because it came a little fast, and it came really a little artificially. And so just like Dead Wife, it is quite anecdotal because in the second film, there was no emotional motivation, but he wasn't doing that for his wife. So we still had flashbacks and callbacks to that, but it felt more empty this time. I really didn't feel for it. And in the first movie, there were these scenes like the funerals of his wife. They were simple. They were just there to get the message passed on, the information passed on, but they were stereotypically simple, I would say. They slightly new because, it's just there to pass an information and you're not meant to carry these scenes in your mind for the rest of the movie. So that's okay. It doesn't, it's not, how do I say that? Yeah, they're not detrimental. That's what I meant. They're not detrimental to appreciating the movie because they are not meant for you to carry on throughout the whole movie. But still they are here, and to me as a filmmaker, these little details are the reason I wouldn't qualify this movie as a masterpiece. I'm gonna come back on that later on, but yeah, because a piece of art for me resides really in the details, and these slight details, even though they're not detrimental to following the storyline and appreciating it and the movie, these are the details that really make for a masterpiece, and they're not there. So now a big point that I want to tackle here is the subject of realism and fantasy in the John Wick franchise. I talked a little bit about that with one of you guys in the comments. And with this folklore of the underworld and the assassins, we are fringing with fantasy. We really are. Although that there is obviously a clear intention from the filmmakers to exploit realism, they're pushing the boundary of realism to a certain extent that is unclear at times. And if not throughout the whole franchise, as a matter of fact, resulting as a consequence of that irregularity. First, the number of assassins throughout the whole world. We already talked about that. Second, the bulletproof suits. There you lost me. Because it was great until then, it was pretty realistic, but then they brought bulletproof suits. Guys. But beyond that, we could talk about John Wick's physical health. I mean, the man got stabbed, the man got shot. He fell from, I don't know how many feet high. And while I do enjoy the weight of the injuries, as I already talked about in my reactions, I love the stunt work. It's brilliant stunt work. But scenario-wise, John Wick goes under all these injuries and 15 minutes later, he's fine. He's fine. And what he has no time really to heal because the two movies happen over the scope of only a week time. That slightly bothered me. Of course there are callbacks to these injuries, just like at the end of the first movie when John is fighting, I don't remember his name, under the rain. He lets himself being stabbed where he was already stabbed before. So there are callbacks like this and over here and over there. But they are here to serve certain purposes at certain focal points, and they are not being carried on fully fledged throughout the whole story, throughout the whole movie. Whereas it should be, because you don't just walk like that. Even if you're on a high rush of sugar or a high rush of adrenaline, just physically there are things that you can't do. And while this movie really has the stunt work really great, the gunfights really great, like I said, there's a real weight when he gets injured. They do not carry those injuries away. And to me, when you're making a movie that is so packed in time, that is really happening on the scope of a few days, you have to acknowledge those injuries. But on the contrary, while I say that we should acknowledge these injuries, I admit, and we all have to admit, and we do see that John Wick is a character that is full of cheat codes. He's being sold to us like the ultimate assassin. Yet, at times, he's unable to do anything. So sometimes he's the most efficient, the most precise man with some remarkable skills and remarkable headshots. And at times, he's just unable to shoot through a window, just like he was unable to shoot whatever was his name, the Russian kid in the club. So I know that he is not that simple to shoot through glass, and sometimes the glass won't even break, but that is a story for another time. But my point is, Either you place John Wick as the greatest killer of all time or you don't. But you don't change the character's capacities, what he is able and what he's not able to do, just to serve your narrative to make a longer movie. John Wick just killed 50 guys. How come he's not able to kill one more, which is the one that we're interested in? I mean, same. We were told he was the best. He's kicking ass like 10, 20, 30, 50 guys in a row, and then he gets to meet Cassian, and then he gets to meet Ares, played by Ruby Rose. Love Ruby Rose in the movie. He gets to meet them and he is struggling. So just like I said, the more assassins you get, the less unique and meaningful your character is, because you come to the realization that he is not alone, so you're losing of that pristine thing regarding your character. It may be okay because you know, sometimes filmmakers, what they do, they tell you that this is happening that way, and in fact it is not. You know, you just assume that it always was like that, and in fact it is a lie. So that may work, but if you're gonna do that, stick with it all the time. The characters surrounding John Wick can say he's the best killer, but if really is not the best killer, and if there are other killers who are as good as he is, then from the very beginning, don't have him be the best killer. And here, this is not really what they've done. They've downgraded John Wick slowly, almost unconsciously, well, or at least I would say the casual viewer doesn't notice it really, because it is progressively done and it is still badass and entertaining. But they've downgraded John Wick slowly and slowly throughout the movies by introducing new characters that he would be struggling against. And by the way, the mobsters, the little mobster that he's kicking ass, the 50 guys, I mean, how come that they're still trying to fight this guy? I understand that if you flee, your boss is just gonna be on your ass and trying to kill you, but honestly, I do believe, although, that you have more chances to escape your boss than you have to survive John Wick. So clearly, but I mean, it makes for a great scene. But you see, these are the details that these mobsters are just like PNGs, you know, NPCs. Sorry, only in English, NPCs. They're just like non-playing characters. They're just here for John Wick to kick like dummies. And to me, that's not okay. That is the problem I had with Star Wars, you know, where stormtroopers are just like these dummies that you can throw away, and other movies like in Rogue One or else with the Clone Wars series and the clones, sorry, they really gave them a flesh because they're really individuals. While in the movie, of course, you don't have time to explore all that thing. You still need to acknowledge these things. And so to me, that doesn't make sense that John Wick is going to kill 50 guys in a scene, and the scene right after, 50 guys are just going to be, oh, okay, I know you killed 50 guys before, but I'm just going to fight you like I didn't know about that. So yeah, the little inconsistencies here and there somewhat bother me. I understand that the casual viewer may not notice them, or it may not bother them, because it doesn't really trouble the narrative. It doesn't really create too great of plot holes. It doesn't create too great of inconsistencies to not appreciate the storyline, and for not the storyline to be generally coherent. So it's rather okay. But you know, since I'm a filmmaker, since I'm doing this channel to talk about movies a little bit more in detail than maybe the average reactor who may be watching things casually, I find it important to talk about it now. But honestly, as a general, as a final umbrella, I would say for what had me hyped from the first movie was really to have these characters, this unstoppable tank of a character. And it was so exciting because I was really, as a filmmaker, wondering how are they going to do that? Because all the time, I'm going to say all the time, your main character has flaws that you know are going to be used for his self-development throughout the movie or the franchises. You see those flaws from the very beginning, and you see where he's going to improve on. John Wick, it was really different, because from the get-go we were told that it was already a great character. The question was, when you have already a great character, what can you do with him to have him develop? And so I was really interested in that. That was really what was hyping me, and what really, I believe, hyped a lot of people, because it was like the most badass character and you just wanted to see what this badass character could do more badass. And in the end, that's not really what they did with the character. They downgraded him a little bit so they could artificially upgrade it later on. And so you had this illusion that the character was progressing, but in fact he regressed and then he progressed. But he didn't regress because the character itself had to regress. It regressed because the filmmaker themselves decided to regress him by introducing other characters of the same notoriety, the same skills, by putting on him leashes continually, by developing the world around him, by developing whatever. So that's what I say by the less assassins you bring, the less your character is valued. And that is somewhat what happened, in my opinion, with John Wick. But just like I said, it doesn't take away from the fun. I really do enjoy these movies. To me, they're really great movies. The direction, the filmmaking work, the directing work, the camera work, the sound, the stunt work, obviously, the actors' performances, everything is really great. The scenario itself is really great because it's really well written. But to me, these are the fine details, the fine prints in the scenario that, in my opinion, doesn't making what I would call a masterpiece. And I'm not saying masterpiece with a little m, I'm saying a masterpiece with a big M. Like, to me, Martin Scorsese's movies are masterpiece. This is a fantastic movie, but this is not a masterpiece because it lacks this great mastery, in my opinion, from a filmmaking standpoint. This is not something, obviously, that the casual viewer is going to see or dwell on, but that is what really says that this movie deserves an Academy Award and this one does not, even though they are both great movies, you know. So that is what I wanted to say. I hope that it was interesting. I hope that I didn't speak too long, maybe 20 or so minutes, but I thought that it was necessary so you know exactly what my mindset is going to that movie. Not gonna lie, I'm not as excited as as when I finished the first movie, because obviously I know where we're going now, but I'm still quite pumped about it. These slight points that bother me, I'm curious to see if these are going to be emphasized maybe in this movie, or if it's going to be the same, or if maybe it's going to feel less contrived. That is what I'm looking forward to this movie, and obviously I'm looking forward just to have a fun time. But as a filmmaker, just like I said, just like a physician is going to comment on replays of House MD, I'm going to analyze in the back of my head anything that I see. So that's it. If you want to see what I have to say really great about the movie, just go watch my previous reactions, because at the end of them, I really talk about what I really loved about the movies. But there, yes, I felt like I needed to talk a little bit what I liked less. If you disagree, that's fine. Just tell me down below in the comments, but be nice, because I'm being really nice with you. So be nice to me. If you disagree on a fact, don't tell me I'm wrong unless you bring a good argument. Just be great in your argumentation, because otherwise I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. But yeah, if you want to comment on a fact, just give me a good argument and okay. If this is just a matter of preferences, that's all fine, and you can tell me down below in comments. You know, everybody has different tastes. Maybe what I didn't like, you loved it for the very same reason, even though you may agree on the analysis, and maybe what I liked about the movie you didn't like. So yeah, that's it. So that being said, okay, so starting right where we left.
PM Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, it's so badass. I mean, come on.
I do hope that Mr. Wick finds his way to safety.
I'd say the odds are about even.
Ian McShane's Winston is being really fair. He's being really righteous. I like that about him.
Tick-tock, Mr. Wick. Tick-tock.
Everybody knows who he is. So really, that's the thing about the world building, that is funny at times, but sometimes can feel a little infringed with fantasy.
Change of plan.
Get down.
Okay, there I must say that I like how John is running, because you see that he's injured, that he's tired. Okay, that is great. Lucky nobody wanted to borrow that book. Just by accident. He's been stabbed in the shoulder. This guy is really massive. Oh, I'm wondering if these are his actual hands or if they've been CGI enhanced, because they're really massive. Oh. Okay. Bloodstains. Nobody's gonna want to borrow it now.
5, 4.
3, 2.
It's like an event.
1.
It's like the new year. Yes, everything stops.
John Wick.
Wahaha!
Open contract is effect. All
Who?
services are suspended.
Wow, everybody's stopping for that. That's an event. That's like The Purge, but just for John Wick. What that movie is really doing great, guys, is building tension. And I really love tension. Oh. Okay. Yeah, guys, grab a weapon. Oh, okay. Oh, I got him. They're just throwing knives. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh. Oh! Oh no, not the eye. Ah! Oh, that felt kind of good. I don't know why. Whew. I love that. I love that. And I'm gonna be able to put some of these moments without having to cut the sound because no music. Anyone for dodgems? It's like the production design team was like, where could we fight, guys? They made a list of all of the most unlikely places and they said, yes, let's go there. Oh, damn. Horse fighting. Oh! The viewer in me is really impressed and the filmmaker in me is just wondering how they did that without having the horse freaking out. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. I see it coming. Yep. Really nice scene to shoot, I bet.
You имя Jordanin Jovanovich. Ty должна мне помочь. I am moved.
That is interesting. That is why the guy is fluent in Eastern languages.
No.
This is a pretty cool scene so far. Wandering just like that in what seems to be an inner empire. Reminds me a little bit of Red Sparrow vibes. Elite Assassins.
Take him to the lifeboat. До свидания.
That means goodbye.
I'm here because Mr. Wick broke the rules in this hotel. The blood was spilt on the grounds of the Continental, was it not?
Oh, yes. It's a matter of
I really love Winston's demeanor. I love all of Ian McShane's performances, really. These sets, guys, these sets. I'm a fan of it.
Let me be clear, I am here to adjudge you. You have 1 week to get your affairs in order.
Excuse me?
At such time, your successor will be named. There are rules. They are the only thing.
Enjoy your stay at the Continental.
Can you get disease from it?
Well, I wouldn't recommend that you eat them.
You gave
She's
John
fun.
Wick 7 bullets. The high table is giving you 7 days.
Throne, because I am the throne, baby.
She gonna
I
kill
am
him?
the Bowery.
I somewhat feel like these rules are misplaced. The way they are executed. It's like they are subject to the interpretation of the table. Therefore, to me, they are no longer rules, but more lines of conduct dictated by the table. Which is fine, but don't call them rules when they are not.
You're excommunicado, John. And that marker doesn't mean shit. I was talking to you, John.
Everybody's running from a marker.
We leave in 10 minutes.
He's not really being fair here. I don't know. He's not being fair. I have no judgment, just saying like it is. I both love and hate this adjudicator. Oh, that actor. I don't remember his name, but he's quite good. Drop the accent.
I wasn't expecting the high table so soon.
Yeah.
Blowfish. Very fatal.
Out!
Are they gonna cut her hands?
I will be of service.
Oh.
Let's go.
Attack dogs. Literally.
It's so fierce. I love it. This dog.
No.
Surely it's the least you can do.
No, you cannot keep my dog.
And I will kill it.
Oh, of course she's gonna do it. I would have done the exact same. 'Cause that man is a piece of shit. I really love that the camera is focusing on her, not on John. Attack dagger, yes. Oh, that was brutal.
You shot my dog.
That's deserved. The pain is more deserved than death. I want a dog look just like that. Love the camera work. Fantastic performance from Halle Berry. This movie sequence is really interesting from a filmmaking standpoint, especially regarding the sound mixing. Oh, okay. That was quite funny. Cool. Really cool. So it's really curious how they switch from a steady camera to the to a really handheld camera. It's curious because I'm not really seeing when the director is choosing more one than the other one. These dogs are something. I really love these dogs. Look at that beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. Really nice. Beautiful shot. It's funny because it looks like it's almost filmed on pellicule, like the aesthetic of it. On film, sorry, in English. Not gonna say it. The music is a little bit
Okay.
too much.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna shove so much fealty up your ass it's gonna come spilling out of your mouth.
You had your chance.
I guess it's time I told you to climb down off your high table and go fuck yourself.
Duly noted.
I bet this adjudicator really likes to come up with creative punishments. Kind of a kink.
My wife, Helen. To remember her. The open contract closed. You will be permitted to continue to live, not free under the table.
I must say John Wick's striving is really curious.
What?
Oh.
And Mr. Wick. Marhaba.
I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't leave my finger here. Like, I would keep it. I don't know. I'd like to leave a part of my DNA somewhere. The last suit he'll ever wear. Again. Again. John Wick's values are really shifty. I reckon they're not really clear for himself, first of all, so that's understandable, but that's something worth being acknowledged. So I do not believe he's gonna kill Winston, but And normal people just go by their days. That kind of... Yes, he can go about his business now. I mean, the justification for this must be that they do their job well and nobody notices, but in that case, maybe just play on the sound mixing in a different way. I don't know. Give us the impression that they're doing this discreetly in that case.
Stick together, kids. Make sure you're holding the hand of the person in front and behind you.
Do they like to do that? Just appear here and there?
He with you?
He was.
Not gonna lie to you, wasn't really a big fan of that scene. It was fun, but oh, I don't remember what movie it's gonna remind me of, but that whole sequence reminds me of a Korean, I believe Korean movie, but they're fighting just like that with katanas or some kind of sabers or swords on motorcycles. I'm not gonna remember the name, it's gonna piss me off. I'm saying that the camera movements on this sequence are really interesting. It's like close, far, moving front, back, angle, down, up. It's really moving in a way that we haven't seen before. That's clever, John. Only a few steps away, not a moment to sleep.
Sir, put your weapon down.
Why is he being so uptight?
I'm a huge fan. John Wick.
A psycho.
And the same gift.
An awkward, murderous fanboy.
No, we're not.
And of course, the administrative lodge has to be some weird place. Gotta salute this set design again. How big is that hotel, by the way? Oh, still Winston.
Tread carefully, Jonathan. But you're having doubts.
I love the chess
Just don't make the
pieces.
mistake of pretending this is personal. The real question is, who do you wish to die as? The Baba Yaga? The last thing many men ever see, or as a man who loved and was loved by his wife?
I agree with that.
I am an adjudicator. Have you decided to step down?
That's how she defines herself. I like that.
The Continental Hotel, New York.
New designation?
Deconsecrated.
Oh, fuck. Fuck. Okay, didn't see that one coming.
The New York Continental Hotel has been deconsecrated.
Is that Robin Lord Taylor? Is that Robin Lord Taylor? Love Robin Lord Taylor.
Under the circumstances, your privileges are reinstated immediately. What do you need?
I like that. Oh, I like them too. Together there. Oh, them three, great force. Oh yes. The tables make great enemies. I mean, they may be the table, but these guys, they're like the most badass people. What do you do as generals when all your soldiers are turning against you?
Grain 1425 feet per second. Serious business.
Serious business. They even have buses with their logo. The heck? What's the FBI doing, I mean? Oh. Electroarmonico, right? Fumigation.
Sharon, would you help set the mood for our new guests?
Of course, sir.
Ah, he's called Sharon. Like Sharon, like the... I don't know what you call that. In hell. Passing souls.
See this back in.
Parabellum.
Parabellum.
Would have liked to see a fighting sequence on classical music, not gonna lie. Oh, yeah. They've upgraded. I like this classic electronic rendition of
Need more firepower.
and he's just there chilling.
Armor improvements.
Love it.
12-gauge steel slugs. Armor piercing.
They are angry. I love that little moment. It was funny. The demeanor. The head literally exploded. I'm really glad that this guy finally gets some action. Oh. I felt that one. It awfully looks like the club from the first movie. That's funny.
I know you believe you can keep this up, but I assure you...
Love it. Isn't he extra jumping? Keanu Reeves is extra jumping. Psycho. Oh, that was cool. That guy is creeping me out. Seriously, creeping me out.
Senang bertemu Anda, Mr. Wick.
It has to be the other guy. Boom. Was a high fall.
Sampai jumpa.
If I didn't have to kill you, we'd be pals.
No.
See? We're the same.
Not gonna lie, guys. This fighting sequence is a little long. unnecessarily long. Finish him, please. Oh. Oh. Fighting sequence was on point, but a little long in my opinion.
That was a pretty good fight, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gentlemen, of course, realize that was the first wave.
Outside
You and
fireplace.
Miss Boosh,
I like
we
that.
can keep this up as long as you'd like, but it only ends one way.
Parlay?
Parlay.
What are we going to do about John Wick?
Oh, he has to die. Sorry, Jonathan.
What's it?
Don't see any other way.
And of course he's alive after that. Harvey then fell from as high and died.
Mr. Wick is gone.
A true tragedy.
You misunderstand. I mean that he is no longer on the street.
Baba Yaga.
There he is.
Oh, John fucking Wick. 'Cause I am really pissed off. You pissed, John? Yeah.
Whoa, guys. Love that movie. Love the cast like always. Finally having Lance Reddick giving in some actions. Loved seeing Angelica Houston here. Ian McShane as ever. Keanu Reeves, fantastic performance. Halle Berry, oh my god. I must say that this was really curious because some of the issues that I addressed, it is like almost they addressed it in the movie. It was really funny. Some things were a little bit better, some things were not so changed. Nothing really got worse. So I have the feeling that we're not done with the John Wick franchise yet, which I'm okay for. I'm okay for because it is a really interesting and compelling story. The fact that John is all over the place with his own thoughts isn't helping for the viewer, I believe, because the viewer doesn't really know. Because the viewer doesn't really know what John Wick is thinking, you don't really know if you should vouch for him in a way or not. Of course, you're always going to be vouching for him, but if you're wise enough to acknowledge that John's feelings are all mixed up, then you must acknowledge the limits of your own confidence in what is right or wrong in this movie. Who's doing the right thing, who is not. In the end, I believe that I'm just vouching for people to survive the best they can. But I'm really questioning John's intentions. Because it seems to me that his intentions... He has an intention which is to live, to remember his wife. Yet the values that he is attached to that are really shifty. And the scene that he had with Winston, where Winston asked him how he would, well, in what kind of a man he would die as, really sealed the deal for me in that regard. Really love the action sequences. The last action sequence between him and I don't remember the actor's name, but the Asian guys in the administrative lounge was a little bit long, in my opinion. But the rest of them were just fantastic. My favorites, it's in between the knife sequence that was taking place in the attic with the Asian guys as well, and maybe the action sequence with Halle Berry after as they escape from the son of a gun that shot her dog. But yeah, so in that movie, we start just right after where we left off from the second movie. I really like that. I really love the educator. But this is, so regarding the law, this is something that I find really interesting, that the powers entitled to this adjudicator. Because in fact, she speaks for the table. I mean, the table might not even be totally agreeing with her. Maybe, in a way, she's speaking for the table, and everybody is taking a word as is the table. It reminds me of that storyline in Star Wars, The Old Republic, where you have the Emperor and the voice of the Emperor, and the voice of the Emperor obviously speaks. Well, in fact, it is the Emperor, but I'm going to pass on the details. The voice of the Emperor speaks as the Emperor. And there is a Sith that is trying to take the mantle of voice of the Emperor, but as an imposter, as a poser. But nobody would question the voice of the Emperor, and so whatever he says is the will of the Emperor. So it's really curious that the position that this educator has, because she's doing parlays with Winston, and she basically says yes or no without consulting the table. So this is she's an educator, so she's not just a spokeswoman. She basically rules for the table. So it really renders the will and the face of the table really awkward. And that's most especially awkward since we had the face of Santino de Antonio in the latest episode, who was a member of the table. And it's shit in New York, yet we saw nobody else from the table. In the end, I don't really know if Winston has betrayed really John Wick or not, if this is part of a plan or not. But Ian McShane has always had that kind of characters who is quite ambivalent. You never know if they are on the right or the good or the bad side, if I could say so. That they're always here to lend you a hand, but you can always count on them in the end to save their ass. So in that regard, they're never going to really betray you, because if you know that you're not in their best interest, you can be sure that they're going to out you. And that is what Winston did. And Sharon, played by Lance Reddick, is really loyal, really like the character, really awesome one. So yeah, that's the end of John Wick for now. I must say that movie is wild. Really awesome things are happening, and yes, of course, even though I'm criticizing, it's not because I'm criticizing this or that part of the movie that it means that I don't like the movie. Not at all. I really, really like the franchise, really like the character, like I said. But it doesn't prevent me, from acknowledging some of its limits and things that I think could have been done otherwise. Or in another fashion, should I say. And just like I said, it's really fringing on fantasy. And when I say fantasy, don't have in mind things like The Lord of the Rings, or I'm talking about the lack of realism, rather. And they are really, really fringing that boundary with all the resources that the table may have, or like the bodysuits and all. It's really... So yeah, it still deals with the great amount of things with a certain amount of realism, but on other subjects they are really pushing the boundaries to a, in my opinion, what is a dangerous limit. Because what I was really pumped up about this movie is that it was exploiting reality and making it grandiose, but by instilling these little fringing elements, I'm losing of that realism that I was really pumped about, because it turns into really a fictitious world, really something that is not attainable. Whereas in the first movie, you could really be under the impression that it could really be real. I don't know if you see what I mean. So this is, but still enjoy it. I'm not sure what to do with the, obviously the wife has become a MacGuffin. Halle Berry's daughter was a MacGuffin. Halle Berry's character is great, and the use of it is a shame also, because in the very beginning they show you that this very powerful woman, yet she has a, you know, she has flaws like everybody, and she has a weak spot, but then it's gone. You know, it's just the business, and it's just so it's really sad because it doesn't come back. There's not necessarily space for it to come back later on, but since there is no space for it to come back later on, I would have rather had them do something else in the first place. Like, don't tease us something not to use it anymore later on, you know. Because I believe that we could have understood a character and the fact that John was asking her of a great sacrifice. Like, just the fact that he was excommunicado and asking her to do something was almost sufficient, in my opinion. So that other thing with the daughter was a little over the top for me. Well, over, how do you call that? A little too much. A little too much. That's not the word I want to use, but I don't see the word in English, sorry. It was a little too much. Really loved the background with John Wick that we got to learn with Angelica Houston. Really love that actress. Of course, knowing her from the Addams Family. She always has this kind of, elegance about her. Really like that. And getting to know about John Wick's past was really, really great. Really fun. What I get from this movie is that it likes to show twisted, dark things, and that is what's quite seducing, because I don't know about you, but when I'm watching a movie, I like kind of twisted things, nasty things like that, because I find it quite interesting. You know, in life everything is so pristine, so it's fun, a little bit exciting. So I like, yes, I really love the lore of John Wick, the lore of the rituals and the meaning of symbols. I really like that. I think that there's a really good usage of it. I'm really, really, really pumped about that. So I really think that they should make a game, like an MMORPG or an FPS, anything really. I really think they should make a John Wick game. It would be so fantastic, because it's so rich of a universe not to be used as a multi-platform thing, you know, transversal transmedia. So yeah. So that was my reaction to John Wick, guys. John Wick Parabellum. So that was my reaction to John Wick Parabellum, guys. I don't have anything much more to say. I don't know yet if I'm going to do a review of the whole franchise later on. I pretty much summed up my points at the beginning of the video, and and at the end of the previous videos, so I don't really know if I would have anything more to say. Obviously, as I'm editing this video and as I reflect on the movie, maybe in the days to come, some new things are gonna come up in my mind, so maybe I'll discuss of it with you guys in the comments. Just like always, tell me what you thought of the movie. Tell me if you maybe have a different opinion from mine. Just like I said, just be nice about it, because it's all just for discussion. Now I'm not fearing any spoilers any longer, because some of you guys were a little bit spoilery in the comments. So yes, I'm treading softly now while I'm reading comments, because some of you guys just want to, I understand you want to give some pieces of information for me maybe to understand more, but by doing so you're spoiling the movies that are coming, you know. So don't try to be too clever, but that's okay. And just like I said, if you think that I'm wrong, maybe on a point or something like that, you can tell me. Of course, I'm listening, but have a great argumentation, have a great development, because I'm really adamant on that. And it is just a matter of taste. Just tell me if it's a matter of taste. It's a matter of taste. Takes all kinds. So that was it. I hope that you enjoyed that reaction. I'm going to be seeing you in my next. I don't know exactly what's going to follow. I was thinking maybe of a comedy movie, because I've been doing horror, I've been doing action, I've been doing sad movies. So I think that comedy would be great as the next film. That's going to be it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. We're getting more and more on the channel, and I'm really pumped about that. I'm really still baffled that you would want to hear my thoughts and such as. I'm really loving discussing with you in the comments, so feel free to leave a message there. Let me know what you thought. I'm trying to respond to as many people as I can, but I can't reply to everybody, obviously, because it is a lot of comments on a lot of videos, and but I'm trying to do my best not to miss anyone. So if I do, forgive me, but yes, that's it. So thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna wish you a very good night, morning, evening, weekend, week, holiday, I don't know. Please take care. I'm gonna be seeing you next time. Bye.